Hey everyone, back again for day 10, okay? 4 more days to go after this one. So today we're going to talk about stepping through the fear of the unknown through breath, movement, and faith. Today's topic is, just when I thought I had it all together, somebody comes along and tells me a story that pushes me right back into where I was, stuck in fear, anxiety, and hopelessness. Well, they're not talking to you, not specifically. Their fear is being projected on you. And the universe, when you think that you have it down pat, you control that story, like you're starting to build an infinite possibility in your story, and somebody comes along and knocks the floor out from under you and you start emotionally falling back down. The universe sent that person to you because you need to be stronger than you were. The BS that they're giving you, that's what doctors tell you. And we need to unlearn that. We're infinite beings in an infinite universe with infinite potential. In a world of abundance, taught fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. And to step through that takes courage. Because every time you start to elevate your energy, those around you who can feel you elevating are going to start, whether they think they love you or not, they are going to start pulling you down to their level. Let that sink in for a minute. Their stories of low vibrational energy, just like a parasite, they're trying to pull you back down. As you raise your elevation, your level of energy, the parasites inside you start shaking your nervous system because they want to be fed. And you have to be stronger than them. And you have to be stronger than their story, or you will continue to fall. So when you hear that, let's say that you elevated yourself to a certain level where you started to feel comfortable, okay? But you're not at the top spot yet. You haven't elevated to the top where those stories will not affect you. That is why those stories come up. It's for you to gather your strength and step beyond that story. And then another story comes in. And you have to gather your strength and step beyond that story. That is why we are here, and that is how we awaken inside to protect ourselves from the outside world. Because the outside world is going to tell us anything it can to lower our energy. That's part of the frequency of the matrix. It's to lower our energy so that we can be controlled in fear, in anxiety. And that is why there's so many people around the world who we're all helping each other, not just me, not the other people around. We're all elevating ourselves and each other at the same time, because it's all one energy. And in energy, there's duality. There's low and there's high. And you have to be able to step through that fear to get to the next level. To be able to control that. To know that that story is BS. I don't care what it is. If it's not in the direction that you want to go in, you have to step above it and continue up. And those people will go away. If you're not listening to them anymore, they need to tell people the low vibrational story or frequency that they're stuck in. They're stuck in it. and they can feel you shifting. And they come in and try to keep you down because they don't want you to go away. They're like addicted to that frequency. And they're trying to pull you into it all the time. And when they realize they can't do it anymore, they leave. And they go find somebody else because they have to do it. And we step through it because we know that we want to live a higher frequency, a higher elevation, a higher lifestyle. And that lifestyle doesn't mean material things. You know, I'm one of the richest people in the world and I don't really have any money. I'm not looking for money. Money flows to me. And I'm okay with that. My friends, your health, your ability to move up in elevation, that's the wealth that I look for. For you to be happy and healthy and vibrationally at your best. But we have to do it. It's like a ladder. We go one rung at a time, right? Because each one is a challenge. And the challenge is coming from the universe, and it's a mirror reflection. And it could be something that happened when you were this big. You might even have forgotten it, but it still lives in your body, that vibration. And you may be in a situation where fear starts to come up and something from way, way back in your life that you forgot about pops up. And you're like, oh my God, I was told that when I was 10 or 5 or 15 or whatever the age is for you, right? And it's coming true. Well, the only reason it's coming true is that frequency, that vibration never left your body, and you're manifesting it into your life. And it came up all these years later so you could face it and you can step into it and go, that is not the truth. You were going to be sick or you were going to die. You have to excuse me here because I've been detoxing and doing Qigong for all through this series that I've been doing. And I have a cold and flu-like symptom going on, which is part of the detox. So you see me wipe my nose once in a while, and that brings up another thing. Okay, oh my God, I have a cold and flu-like symptom. So I have to stop. No, you don't have to stop. You can stop, or you can slow it down, or you can just step through it, which is what I'm doing. I'm stepping through it. If it gets too bad, I might have some cooked food, and it will slow it down. Because it's cooked food, low energy, my vibration is climbing, and all my cells are starting to vibrate, and all that mucus is starting to come out. So it's not something we should be afraid of, it's something we should celebrate. Celebrate our detox. Celebrate our ability to move through it. Just like the stories. Say you were, 10, and somebody said, yep, when you hit a certain age, you're going to die, and this is how you're going to die. Are they God? No. Do they know when you're going to die and how you're going to die? No. Nobody does. But if you get lost in the story, over the years, you'll manifest it into your life. I've had friends, when I had my businesses, I wanted one as a person that I knew as a partner. And what they said was, my father died at 39, so I'm going to die at 39, so I can't be in business. I said, okay. So what are you going to do the day you turn 40? Because you don't know that you're going to die when you're 39. Nobody does. And any doctor that tells you otherwise is lying through their backside. Those are the people you want to get away from. Their story is low vibrational, and they're pulling you further and further and further down. And the lower your energy goes, the sicker you get. And they're masters at it. And they have taught all the people all around us to tell us the same story. See, they're lost in that frequency and that vibration. So when they come into your life and they tell you these things that are going to affect your life, from poverty to dis-ease to death to whatever, we have to be brave enough to step past that story and keep creating an infinite story. Theirs is an impossible story. And we want infinitely possible. That's what our stories are. I am the commander-in-chief of my body. And no one is going to tell me different. I'll take what comes my way because they're lessons. And I will take that lesson and I will internalize it. I will create a new story that will create a higher vibration and lift me out of that story. That's how powerful we are. We're like a dim switch on a light. It goes up, it goes down, right? That's the light and darkness that we speak into our life simply by the stories we tell. So what story are you telling? What story are you repeating, not just to others, but to yourself? What fear are you living in? And how do you step through it? You step through it through proper hydration, nutrition, oxygen, movement, rest, grounding to the earth, and having a story of infinitely possible. Right? And abundance. There are people all over the world that have listened to me and other people who have completely shifted their lives. One they told they had 14 days to live, 70 listed diseases and a paralyzed face. When they found me, I've never met this person. It's been 4 years. And they are fine. Another one they carried in from a hospice bed. In 5 classes, they took her to hospice and took her support away. By the 7th class, she was driving herself back and forth, and I think it was 6 weeks later, I'm not really sure about that. But later, she passed her 3-wheel motorcycle permit test. And when she was laying on that bed, stagnation. She was laying on that bed, drugs. She was laying on that bed, towards the end of her life, morphine. These are patterns. And we're watching them over and over, and we fear those. Well, change your story. This right here will produce drugs that will make morphine seem like candy. I haven't shared this, I don't think, on video, but I was working with a grinder and it picked up a piece of metal and it went across all my fingers. Weirdly enough, the 2 that get hurt the most are my ring fingers. Trust and honesty, right? So, I have pictures. This fingernail right here was split right in half. It cut right down in. I thought about cutting the end of it off myself. And so I just pushed it back up there. I ran it under cold water. I did a meditation, about 10 minutes, sending energy to this finger. I don't know if you can see it, but there's not even a mark on it. okay? And this finger was split, but not as bad. And all these other fingers and my side, the thing turned into a weed whacker. And it went across my fingers and across my stomach. No doctors, no drugs, no meditation. Now, did I take care of it? Yes. I used peroxide and vitamin E oil. And in a few weeks, that was the result. So, am I saying you should do that? No. I'm saying that we are a high vibrational tuning fork. And when we get stuck next to a vibration that's lower, we will start to resonate with that. And we're around high vibrational stories and people, we'll tune to that next vibration. So we're constantly moving up and down in that vibrational scale, right? And we get to pick which one we want to go to. But we have to step through the fear on this side, the low vibration, to step into the high vibration, whichever side that is. This is just an example, right? But to turn that tuning fork up, to get it vibrating and resonating at a frequency where these dis-eases do not exist. So this, let's say this is the highest form of vibration right here, okay? Everything's healthy, everything's good, the mind, the head, the body, everything is clear. As the vibration lowers, it doesn't mean we'll have, but we'll be susceptible to, especially by the stories around us, cold, flu, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, MS, Parkinson's, cancer. It goes right down the list. The lower it goes, the more susceptible you are. And as we go through certain conversations and stories and live liquids and breathing and motion and getting our body moving again to get the stagnation out of it, as those come up, these dis-eases cannot exist in a body that is fully vibrationally at its peak. So I'll do that again. So here we are, we'll start here. This is vibration at its highest. And as it lowers, you're susceptible to, but it doesn't mean you'll have, cold, flu, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, Parkinson's, cancer. And as we raise our, because these are vibrations within the body. And as we raise our vibration through detoxification and good mental clarity, through good stories, as we raise that, these things can no longer exist. And we're back to health. So, I just wanted to go over that because some people panic, and I've just done so many things over my life, seen so many things that were hopeless, even with my own life. But I never gave up. I knew that I could overcome it. From not being able to read or write and starting a sign shop, of all things. Not being able to read and write and becoming an author. And I'm not bragging about me. We can all do it. I'm not special. I just don't quit. And I'm not saying you're quitting. I'm saying that you don't have the support to elevate yourself, to bring that vibration up. The frequencies that are lowering you are stronger than your story. And it's time to take the book of your life, turn the page, and start writing a new chapter and write what's going on in your life. Write it out. Get rid of it. Because in the book of your life, you kept writing it in. Because the stories that were around you were supporting it. Well, it's time to write a new story. Turn the page and start writing what you want your life to be like and start speaking it into existence. And no matter who comes up to you with some weird story that you've got this, or you're going to have this happen to you, or no. And if it does, I'll learn from it and I'll move on. Being pronounced dead at the scene and waking up 4 days later in a coma, from a coma. Lost some of my memory. I was a completely different person, completely rewired. They told me I'd never walk again, and they were going to amputate this arm because they said it would never work. That's when I said I was going to be an artist. And what do you think people said? An artist? Oh my God, artists can't make money. What's the matter with you anyway? Can't you see you're broken? I said, I may be broken. And I may be at the bottom at this time, but in my mind, there's nothing but up from here. There's nothing but up from here. And that's how I started. At the bottom, in a wheelchair, not being able to walk. I still had this arm. And I started finger picking on a guitar. That's how I worked my fingers. Not very well, but who cares? You know, when I used to turn my hand over, my thumb would lock right on the side of my hand like that. Now, I can kind of get it out there. But on this side, see, I couldn't even do it here. Now, I can push it out pretty good. But I have a lot of scar tissue up here in the fascia, and ligaments got damaged because my hand was here. And it was, you know, double compound fracture. But it got my whole right side. Now, if I'd believed the doctors, and I'd taken their drugs, I never took any drugs, I did all my own rehabilitation. I've been in martial arts for 19 years, so I was used to helping my body regenerate itself. And injuries, because I did carpentry, I did all kinds of stuff. Ditch digging, and I worked in graveyards for years because I couldn't read or write. So to overcome all that stuff, I had to step beyond the stories. I mean, through school, it took me 15 years to get through the first grade to the 12th grade. I couldn't read or write when I graduated. So what did I do? Well, you did what everybody does. You become a sign painter. But the weird part is, I could work in any language. I just had to make sure there was somebody there, because I found out when I was 38, my wife at the time said, I think you're dyslexic. Turns out I am dyslexic. So there's another thing that would lower your energy. But it didn't lower my energy. I care less. It's just a thing. It's a thing that we can step over, to go beyond. When we are here, right? This hand crosses this center line, okay? This side of my brain runs my hand over here. And then when I cross that center line, this side of my brain runs my hand. So as I cross back and forth, it's forcing the two brains to communicate with each other. So we don't end up without a dominant side, ambidextrous, basically. But if you, and I've done this in some of the other videos, if you hold your finger up and you close one eye and you switch back and forth, your finger moves. Well, this is happening when people are dyslexic. This is happening thousands of times, and things jump around and move around on you. So you can't get a true focus. Which was great for an artist, because people say, well, that tree's not on that side. Artistic right? It's my right. I'm going to put that tree where I want it. I don't care where it is. Balance and structure-wise, it fits here with what I'm doing. So what's happening in your life that you can take that And you can restructure your life with a new story, because people aren't right. When they're talking about you, they're talking through their own fear. It's like when I was going to write a book. Oh my God, you're going to write a book? Oh, this ought to be great. I didn't care. It was a passion. It was something that I wanted to do, was to learn to read and write. And so after my wife at that time left, or my wife left, there is no wife now. After my wife left, I couldn't run the company, so I had to close it. Because I still couldn't read or write. So I bought a van, spent 6 years living in the van, traveling around America, taught myself to read and write, and out of that came my book. We all have that power. We all have the ability to change our story. And it's all vibration, frequency. It's controlled by our breath. It's controlled by our movement, our food, our diet. Live food, live body, dead food, dead body. Find the balance between those two. Because if you can be so low in vibrational energy that you have dis-ease, you can be so high in vibrational energy that you have dis-ease on the other end. You need the balance in between. And finding that balance is just like finding your balance in your body, to keep your head, your hip, and your ankle or your foot in alignment. Okay? This baby weighs 11 pounds, depending on the size of your head and everything, but so you have to be able to maintain that line. And the best way to find that is just to rock from side to side, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself, oh, there it is, and you might lose it because the core strength is not right. And then all of a sudden, bang, there it is. And you can hold it longer and longer. And it's a good idea to hold it longer and longer, because you're developing your core strength on each side of the body. And before you know it, you'll be able to do all kinds of cool things without losing your balance. Okay? And if you do one side and it was really good, and you can't do the other side, just keep doing and practicing. Because one side's weaker than the other, that's all. And it will only get stronger with your commitment to it. Your intention. Your authenticity. I will figure it out. I will find a way to complete this. I may be in fear right now, but I'm going to step through that fear, and I'm going to find out what's going on. And I'm going to correct it within my own vibrational body. This is a factory. It produces energy. It's both quantum from the universe, and it's from the earth. And when we ground ourselves to the earth, we get rid of a lot of static electricity. And you can tell it to go into the ground. You know, the earth will take care of that. But then as you add breath to that, and your vibration is rising, because the breath is the vibration in the body. For people who are afraid, take a pillow, bury your head in a pillow, and scream. See what comes up. You may end up crying and sobbing and all this because you're changing your breath. And whatever happened in the past will start to come up so that you can face it and step through it. That's when you will overcome whatever fear that was. Because chances are, it's not happening anymore. That's not always the case, but if it happened when you were little, yeah, it'll come up, and you took it in through your breath, whether it was emotional, physical, spiritual, whatever it was that caused that vibration in your body. Screaming is shaking the body. Breath is a mild shaking of the cells. It's moving everything, okay? And you're telling it to get out of your body. Well, you can do the same thing screaming. I've taken people out. It's hard to find here in Maine, but find some place where you can be alone in your car or whatever, right? This person I took out, and we did screaming, we did EFT, and throwing rocks. And it changed the whole life, because those frequencies, those vibrations are coming out into the universe where they belong. They don't belong in your body. That's where your dis-ease, your low-level energy is coming from. It's suppressing you. And we want to lift that up. Open up those lungs. Expand the chest, the back, the ribs, right? So when we breathe in, we expand. And then when we exhale, we close. That's how simple it is. Our bodies are amazing. And every system in our body has its own brain and is sending information to the brain. And the brain produces chemicals that flood the body. And those chemicals can be fearful chemicals, can be things that cause anxiety, depression, you name it. They also can cause joy and happiness and being elated and laughter and tears. So I want to do this breath. This is a pretty cool breath. I haven't done this in a long time. We used to do it in class, and I'll probably reintroduce it to class. But we inhale through the nose 6 times, right? So we want one breath. We're going to do it 6 times, so let me do it here. And that should be a full breath. Then we turn the hands down, and we go. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 5. If you find yourself getting lightheaded, either sit in a chair or sit in a chair first. And, or don't breathe so hard if you're standing and you don't have a place to sit. Try not to breathe in so hard and so fast, all right? So, here we go, okay? 6 breaths in through the nose, very short. We want a full breath when we get to the top. I don't know how many that is. We'll do 2 more. 1 more. Okay? Now let's just move our arms around a little bit. Okay? There is no rhyme nor reason to this. Actually, this one is called temper tantrum. We usually make a fist on this. And we stand kind of in a horse stance, right? And you just breathe through your nose, normally. Whatever's normal for you, but don't hold your breath. It's good to do different breaths once in a while so the body doesn't get too used to it, because what happens is you only do 1 breath, it'll work, but the body gets used to it. It's like push-ups. People who do push-ups and they do them all the time, they can do more and more and more and more and more. And the body, even though it's getting some benefit, it's not like if they do push-ups and they get so they can do 50 and then start doing chin-ups. That's a whole different muscle group. right? So every breath we do, we're working different muscle groups. We're expanding the chest and the ribs and the back. Our lungs are more towards the back. So sitting in a chair at night, falling asleep in your soup, watching the boob tube, the programming, and then we're half asleep and a commercial comes on and it's really loud. Well, in that relaxed state, when you wake up, that is when you can be hypnotized. Hypnotized is a relaxed state, or hypnotism. So those are the things we have to be careful of. If you're going to be half asleep and falling in your soup, listen to positive things, or listen to 428 hertz music, or 432, or a 528. 528 is in the middle of the sound frequencies. It's color, it's sound, and there's another one. Maybe I'll post that underneath. I posted a lot of stuff underneath about not getting lost in people's stories. That's their frequency they're telling you. And they're telling you that because they've been trained to believe that it's true, and it's not true. Nobody knows when you are going to die. Nobody. And with the right information and the right story, you can build your life back up. Because it's all vibration. First breath is in, turns your electrical system on, your heart, your lungs, and you have life. Without it, you can't be here. And the last breath is out. And that's when the energy goes back to source and the body stays here. Because the breath is from the universe and the body is from the earth. So I hope you found that helpful, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all being here, and that this helped you, because it has changed my life drastically. And I still, in high school, they still think that you're that same person, that idiot that went to school, at least in my case, because I couldn't read or write. I mean, there's a B, C, D, E, and F student. Well, I was a red F student. The only thing I ever passed was phys ed. But I could go home, build anything. I could tear a car apart, put it back together, or a motorcycle. But that's not what they teach you there. I could draw a lot of things, not like I can now, but because I never left my art, it was my passion. So what is your passion, and how can you change your story so that your passion will give you the life you want? Because you're the one writing the book. So whatever your passion is, just start writing it in. Write in what you want, what you're going to do. Not what I want to do, what I'm going to do. Because if you want it, it's out there somewhere. You can't get it. Future millionaire, right? I had that cup for years, and then one day I looked at it and went, well, if it's in the future, I'm never going to get there. On the path to enlightenment. If you're on the path, you're not there. So start from where you want to be and draw everything to you, because that's when you're at your greatest magnetic pull, your greatest magnetic force. It's coming from here. It's reflecting through your story out into the universe, and the universe will bring it to you. All right. Love you guys. See you in the next video, day 11.